Welcome to the 2019 St. Peter's Fiesta. We have Elimination Wednesday, same boats here. I'm your host, John Nicastro, and with me is host and co-host Corey Kukuru. How are you, Corey?
Great to see you, John. Congratulations on the softball season. I got to say that right off the bat. Great to do this with you.
Thank you very much, Corey. I'm definitely the rookie here with a veteran behind the mic.
Yeah, I've been doing this all day long from the Fiesta stage, so we'll share some stories, have some fun today. We've got a lot going on, a lot on the line, so I can't wait to get going.
Absolutely. We do have a lot on the line today. Just to give you a little bit of an update of what today's about. Today's about Elimination Wednesday. Like, what is Elimination Wednesday? Elimination Wednesday is same boat races. This is the senior division men's same boat races, in which in the first heat we will have 3 same boats going against each other. 2 out of the 3 will advance to Saturday, and then the second heat today will have 2 boats. 1 will advance. In the first heat, we're going to have the old Forza Furia, who's your 2016 champ. They will be renaming the boat if they advance. They'll be going up against the Merger, the 2017 champ, boatload of Gigalonis and Morriseys. And in the third boat in that race will be Danger Zone. It's a boat that doesn't have as much experience and is pretty much ruled out by a lot.
Well, and the conditions today, it's really breezy. It's actually gorgeous out here at Pavilion Beach in Gloucester. Probably about 70 degrees or so, but a stiff breeze from the north and northeast. I'd say about 15, 20 miles per hour. High tides, I think, is 7 p.m. tonight. So it's still coming in. Now, I talked to Leanne Palazzola earlier today, and she's a longtime rower and a coach. And she actually said that the tides and the breeze don't matter at all. They don't, because the rowers are just so focused on the task at hand, and they're going all out. But if you're coming down to enjoy today or any time this weekend, we're looking at an absolutely beautiful lot of land on the beach here and some awesome competition. It is the 92nd St. Peter's Fiesta, and we've got all the competition for you from start to finish, so we're really looking forward to it.
Thank you for that, Corey. And just to get back to, you said it was Leah Palazzola's comment?
Yeah, Leanne.
So Leanne, she's wrong. No disrespect to Leanne, but the wind does play part in it. We do have actually, I'm not going to say glass conditions, but you don't see much of a ripple in the water.
True, right. We feel the breeze up here where we are, our vantage point, but we're just looking at the seines gathering around here, ground the greasy pole now, and it's not flat calm, but it could be a lot worse.
Definitely, and Leanne, you're right to an extent, and then on the flip side of it, the winds do matter, and the guys, no doubt, are focused on the task at hand, which you're right about that, but the wind can play part, and that's why the scuttler is so important, and that's the person that will be directing the boat, because the wind can definitely push you one way or the other. So the wind, no doubt, does play a part. The tide does as well, just a little bit, because even though it might only be an extra 50, 60, 70, 80 feet or more, if you lose by a seat length, but the other boat is coming hard, that extra 80 feet could cost you a title.
That's a great point. And also, now that I'm looking at the greasy pole, I'm sure the walkers are going to be happy with the tide situation this week. And we've had some years when it's been so low, you're just waiting to hear the slap from back here on the beach. So what we said, great conditions today. The crews are fired up. Like we said, there's a lot on the line. And we're going to find out who has what it takes to advance to this weekend's finals.
Yeah, and just to reiterate your point about the tide, when you see the greasy pole right now at almost a high tide, you're talking maybe a 15-foot drop or so, might even be less. And when it's at low tide or dead low, you're talking 25-foot drop, and it can be a lot. But the downfall is, Corey, the swim in.
Well, yeah, that's true, too. Now, especially if you're one of the losing walkers. The winner, yeah, you're just floating on air anyway. But, yeah, it's a long way down, and it's a cold swim back in. But I'm actually going to be with all the walkers Saturday morning at Gumbati's. And we're going to be live hanging out with those guys. 8 a.m. start. They're going to be pretty fired up for the day. So we have our eye on the forecast. Right now, it looks like we're going to be doing all right for the entire Fiesta. So that's good news all around.
Yep, that's definitely a bonus. And as you can see right here in front of us is Forza Furia. This boat is your 2016 champion. They will be renaming the boat after the race. The reason why it's an old gentleman's agreement in seine boats that if you don't win the title, typically you rename your boat. And some of the crews these days keep the name, like Chaos. They've kept the name, and there's a big debate about that. Like if you win or you lose and you keep the name, does it really count towards the number of titles that certain crews get? And I feel it does count. So Forza Furia, though, will be renaming the boat. And in the boat, we have the coxsman, Mike Jarvis. The coxsman is the coach. If you see, he's standing up right now, a little lower than the scuttler. The scuttler is the guy holding the oar at the lead of the boat, or right now the bow, but that's actually the head of the boat if it's if with the steering. And that is Mike Harmon. Mike Harmon is one of the best scuttlers in the game. Last year, he was just an absolute, had miraculous turns for Forza Furia last year. And their scuttlers are as follows: Peter Mondello and Vincenzo Terranova in the lead oars. The lead oars are setting the pace of the boat. They're setting the pace on how fast the boat goes, when they want to just lay into their strokes and maybe lengthen them out. The lead oarsmen are like your quarterbacks of the team. The second seat will be Peter Taramina and Matt Pardee. Last year, Forza Furia did not have Matt Pardee, in which they lost by maybe a seat to the defending champs, Iron Village. L.J. Robinson and Sam Taramina, they're in the engine room. John Francis, a great rower with Brett Cahill, and Wayne Morris and J.J. Pelazzola in the bow. Now to the right, you'll see them as the camera pans over to the right. You're going to have in the first heat, I believe that boat is Danger Zone, it looks like from here. But it's hard. I'm having some trouble seeing. What do we have there, Corey? Does that look like Gigolonis and Morrissey's? It actually does. I can tell by how big Mike Mitchell is in the engine room.
Yeah, I believe that's them on the right, and we've got, and I think we got some trolling out here. Yep, and Danger Zone's coming into the picture now for you.
Yeah, so to the right, that's definitely going to be the merger. Now, the merger last year, no doubt, they were disappointed in their row on Sunday. They were the 2017 champs. And the merger just ran away with the show in 2017. And on Sunday of 2017, maybe the biggest win in the history of Sunday championships, when they demolished the field. And then last year, the merger laid an egg on Sunday when the defending champs, Iron Village, stole the show. The merger had something happen to them coming home from the Greasy Pole Inn that you typically don't see. They lost about 2 boat lengths at the Greasy Pole Inn, and you don't usually see that. They had a couple rowers that gave up and stopped rowing, Corey.
It's amazing. We have to tip our hats to all of the competitors here too. We know some guys just pick up the oars, say, a couple months beforehand, but a lot of these guys train actually year-round to be in tip-top shape for this. It's arduous. It's a lot of hard work, and like we said, the conditions do play a factor, and it's going to play a factor today. But the focus is there, the determination is there, and like I said, we're looking forward to finding out who gets to advance.
Yes, we will. So the merger, and to get back to, a couple guys stopped rowing. Some people, their instincts might go to what they just gave up. Well, if you're thinking of for example, a 5K, and you start out running too fast, and at some point you might need to walk, at some point you might need to stop. Well, that's what kind of happened to the merger last year on the way home. They gave it a little bit too much on the way home, and so a couple of the guys just they ran out of gas. So the merger, we have Vito Gigoloni as the coxsman, who's the coach, the scuttler Joe Belbo, both legends, both decorated with a lot of championships, arguably the most of all time. And they have lead oarsmen Dylan Morrissey and Chris Gigoloni, Vito Gigoloni and Clayton Morrissey in the 2-seat, Nick Gigoloni and Mike Mitchell in the engine room, Mark Gigoloni and Joe Gigoloni, and then in the bow, Lucas McRobb and Seth Morrissey. There's a couple adjustments from last year, Corey, where they feel that they needed to make adjustments because they just didn't have what it takes last year. We're going to see if the adjustments work out.
And I'm wondering what these guys did between last year and this year to overcome what could be that hump on that last lap coming back in towards the beach. So it'll be interesting to see what adjustments they make and how they play out.
Yep, totally agree. And that's what's great about seine boat racing. is that it's literally brute muscle versus brute muscle. It they don't act as one. If you have one oar out of sync, it almost acts like a brake.
That's a great point, and that's why, yeah, rhythm is what it's all about. Teamwork, togetherness. This is where your coxswain and all that comes. That's where they come into the forefront, keeping everybody in line, in order, in uniform, and making it happen. So we'll see. I mean, we'll see how this plays out, and like I said, we'll see what sort of times people are turning today, and maybe that informs us on how the weekend's going to play out too.
Yep, and to the right here we have our third boat in the first heat, and you have the Danger Zone. And last year they were Iron Village 2. I think they called them Iron Village 2 because it was like the JV squad. So those boys are trying to make Iron Village 1 on the varsity squad. So I'm sorry to hear that because you'd rather play varsity than JV. But any much the less is just being out there is something that's important.
And that's a great point you make, because I had a chance this morning to talk to Caleb Perry, who is the son of Cindy Perry, and they brought back the junior steamboat races. And there was a chance it wasn't going to happen this year, too. But there was that desire and like an outcry from the community. They rallied a lot of younger guys to get involved this year. So we're happy that that's going on, too. And it just goes to show you how much the steamboat races mean to the community, to the city of Gloucester, and to the guys in the boats here, too. So we're really looking forward to sharing this event with you, not just today, but all weekend long here from Pavilion Beach. And it should be a blast. I'm already having a fun time doing this with you, John.
This is actually mind-boggling. I love it. Corey Kukri, we graduated together. And Corey, you said the word desire.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you know how much this means to the guys on the boats, but everyone knows that the eyeballs are on you, right? It's all your family, it's all your friends. You feel like the whole world's watching you, and you don't want to let them down. But also, it's part of the whole lore with Fiesta. It's your family, it's the family that's and your friends who have passed before you. It's St. Peter and what that means to everybody here as well. So I'm sure it means something different to each of the guys on the boats out there, but all the same, and we're talking about a great event. And like I said, you can't question their heart or their courage to do this and to go literally all out for however fast this may be today. 8 minutes, 9 minutes, 10 minutes, 11 minutes, who knows? So we'll see. So, cheers to them and good luck, guys, going forward. So this should be a great event.
No doubt about that. And to get back to the word desire, which Corey described perfectly, defined perfectly, but the word desire in the same boat world means the greatest crew of all time in 1983. And that boat was coxman Joe Novello, who's still doing it today. The scuttler of that boat was Cookie Shimataro. 1983, 1984, 1985, 1986. Four-time champion, the only four-time champion of all time. The kids beg to differ that was the greatest crew. It was the kids back in the day winning 3 in a row, but not 4. They have their excuses on why they didn't win 4. And if they won it the following year, it would have been 5. But could have, would have, doesn't help in this case. They only have 3. Desire, 4 in a row, the greatest crew of all time. And did I just say the scuttler of Desire was Cookie?
Yeah, it was Cookie. Yeah, and well, that just shows you how much this means to these guys. And at the end of the day, winners get bragging rights for life. So you win 4 in a row. It's hard to argue with that. So, and honestly, I got to hang out with Joe Novello today. He's still so involved in putting this together. What a great guy. We were just over there with him and Chris Palazzola. We're building the stage and altar together for this weekend's events, which, by the way, that carnival's already opened up now for you. There's already a ton of kids out there having fun. But big shout out to Joe Novello. A lot of people don't know this, but every Sunday, Joe opens up his home to have people over Sunday evening for dinner. And I actually, was the last time I hung out with Jimmy Tarantino, was there and broke bread there and just shared Fiesta stories, and it was a great night. So,
Corey, there's the harbor master right there. Chad Johnson, assistant harbor master. Look, He looks great out there.
How could you spot him?
I have no idea.
That's off the Chad. Is he with TJ out there, or is it just Chad today?
It looks like I don't see TJ out there. There's Chad.
Oh, yeah.
No doubt about it.
Chad's another class of 92. Buddy of ours. And we spent a lot of time. We're in a beautiful vantage point here in Pavilion Beach. We killed a lot of hours here, John and I, with guys like Chad growing up. So it's really cool that things have come full circle, and we're still enjoying each other's company and the Fiesta and the same boat races. So how lucky are we, you know?
Yep, and it looks like the boats are trying to line up right now. So right now you have, to the left, you have Mike Jarvis in the Santa Maria, and you have Mike Harmon, the scuttler, standing up. Mike Jarvis standing in front of the scuttler, the coxsman. And in the middle, you have the merger. They're trying to line up to get this first heat started. The 2017 champ in the middle, the 2016 champ to the left, and to the far right, you have Danger Zone. Danger Zone is a long shot in this one, a big underdog. So you never know, though. You know, like they say, just any given Sunday. But sometimes I just don't know in this one. You got some powerhouse boats here that roll like there's an engine attached.
Yeah, and this is always the strangest part just before the sailboat races start, because it's not like a runner in track getting to the blocks, and as soon as they get set, the gun goes off in there, and then they go. This is where they actually have to play and toggle the boats back and forth to try to get in some sort of straight line before the race can even begin. And sometimes that can take, you know, we've seen it take 5, 10 plus minutes before. So we'll see as the guys get settled in here, and we can get underway.
Yeah, let me give you a quick lineup again. So to the left, you have it's going to be renamed if they can advance, but the old Forza Furia, which is the 2016 champions and lost by a seat last year to the Iron Village defending champions. But you have Mike Jarvis, the coxsman, Mike Harmon, the scuttler, Peter Mondello, Vincenzo Terranova, Peter Taramina, Matt Pardee, L.J. Robinson, Sam Taramina, John Francis, Brett Cahill, Wayne Morris, J.J. Pelazzola. In the middle, the merger, 2017 champ. A boat loaded with Gigalonis and Morriseys, and you throw in a Belbo, and you could have a champion for 2019, and actually a Mick Robb, but we'll see what happens. But you got Vito Gigaloni, Joe Belbo as your scuttler and coxsman, Dylan Morrissey, Chris Gigaloni, Vito Gigaloni, Clayton Morrissey, Nick Gigaloni, Mike Mitchell, Mark Gigaloni, Joe Gigaloni, Lucas McRobb, Seth Morrissey, and a long shot. Last year's Iron Village 2, now coming in as the Danger Zone, made some adjustments, trying to tidy up this stroke. Last year it wasn't the greatest of strokes, and seeing if they can maybe pull it together here and cause maybe what would be definitely the biggest upset of all time. But you have coxsman AJ Orlando, scuttle Phil Francis, who's back. Phil was a great scuttler back in the day, and let's see if he can still do it. Then you have Martin Christensen, Justin Burrell, John Dyer, Rick Terrain, Joe Pleasure, John Clegg, Paul LaFleche, John Ferrante, Mike Galante, Matt Nose. So we're going to see like what this boat has. But to the left, Forza Furia. In the middle of the merger, Jimmy Tarantino, as you can see down below, Chaos, a legendary rower, a huge part of the Fiesta. He wears his heart on his chest. Just a great guy all around. He's going to be the judge. And when his hands go down, that means the race starts. Well, hands go up, should I say. So we're getting ready here. We're getting ready to go. As you can see, they're lining up.
And I spoke with Jimmy this morning, and he reflected on last year and how he almost had to make that tough call because the race was so tight within one seat. So he's hoping it's not that tight again. But yeah, he's right here in front of us in the blue shirt here at the edge of the water, Pavilion Beach. And like I said, if you're just tuning in, I'm Corey Cooker along with John DeCastro, and we are hanging out here at the 92nd Annual St. Peter's Fiesta for the eliminations of the same boat race for the men's.
Thank you, Corey. And here are our sponsors: Craney Home Services, Blue Collar Lobster, Gloucester House Restaurant, the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee. And since Corey and I do it pro bono, do you have any sponsors?
No. I'm here just hanging out with the guys, and it's cool hanging out with you and your brothers here. Yeah, people probably know me as Mr. Facebook, so I'm all over that with the Bridge and now 1623 Studios, which is the local public access cable station here. So happy to help out in any way, and honored to be asked to do this with you guys.
And I agree. I'm not going to give Nicastro's driving school a plug, but I will give a plug to my 2019 softball team, who went the furthest of all time of any female softball team, and the furthest of all time of almost any team that, for male or female, is top 5 furthest any team, male or female, in Gloucester High School history. A shout out to all of the girls. They were the Division II North champs, Division II Eastern Math champs, and NEC champs. And don't forget who developed the app, Streamography, Andrew Nicastro. No doubt about it. He developed this app. So people on Sicily, Terracini, why not next door in Rockport if you want to watch it. It doesn't matter if you're in California, Florida. Because of Andrew, you can watch this. And we've had tens of thousands of people watching this across the world because of Streamography and the app.
And we know, Junja, you're not one to pat yourself on the back, but we want to say cheers again to the girls softball team, and congratulations to Mark Nicaster, who was earlier named, I believe, Assistant Coach of the Year, Globe Scholastic. Was that true?
Absolutely. Mark is Coach of the Year in a number of different areas this year. He deserves to have it. Okay, and they're still trying to line up here. As you can see, Jimmy Tarantino below pointing at him, just telling the guys, come on, let's try to get this going. But in defense of the rowers, they work all year, and just to give an analogy, Corey. So if you're in a running race and you let someone have, say, a 5-foot lead, and they end up beating you by 3 feet, how would you feel?
I mean, that's heartbreaking stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't get out of my mind, and that sort of would be what would drive me until the next race.
And that's the coaches. So the coaches in front of the coxmen, who are the guys that scuttle the boat. You have Mike Jarvis to the left. You have Vito Gigoloni in the center, and to the right, you have AJ Orlando. That's their job, to make sure the other boats don't get a lead. As you can see in the bow right now, the guys are taking little strokes. That's called feathering. They're the only guys that can take those strokes. It's almost like Fred Flintstone getting the running start in a car. They're getting the boat ready to go. Okay, so they can feather the boat to get them going just a little bit. The coaches are just watching, making sure that their boat isn't behind. They don't want to be behind, either tied or ahead. If you see them put their hands up, they're saying we're set. So to the right, danger zone, hands are up. The other two coaches are looking at each other. Jarvis to the left is telling his stroke right now harder, because he wants to get a lead. If his hands go up, that means his boat probably has a lead. And in the middle, you have Vito Gigoloni, and they're going way out now, so most likely they're going to get pulled in. And you can see to the right, AJ Orlando, arms up. His arms are still up. Jarvis playing mind games. Mike Jarvis, one of the best coaches in the game. And when he stands like that, typically he's going to say, turn it around. And here they come back.
I want to point out that Tom Jarvis is a redhead. I don't know why, I just wanted to throw that out there.
There's no reason why you wouldn't. There's not a lot of them out there, and he's one of them. He's one of the only gingers in the boat. Corey, believe this or not, listen to this statistic.
Yeah.
On my girls softball team, I had 5 redheads on my team this year.
Really? For real? You finally got it. No wonder why you got it right this year. Yeah, so that's called the cluster effect. You'll find that redheads, no matter where they are, somehow just seem to gather and collect on their own somewhere. So if you're out somewhere like, why are those 3 redheads standing together? We don't even know. We just kind of do it naturally. Yeah.
When do you have more redheads on a team than Italians in Gloucester?
What about any redheaded Italians? No Cougars, no Bertolinos out there?
No, not one. I had a couple grows, Maisie, Grow, and Jemima. Their dad, Jason. I had the grows, but then I had a couple. There was no vowels at the end.
A telltale sign, yeah.
It wasn't like you. You're one of the few that has a little bit of a ginger tone here and there.
Oh, yeah, and I'm later. They call me the Italian leprechaun because of my height too. So yeah, I'm pretty easy to spot if you look down.
So here we go. They're trying to line them back up again. To the left, you have the Santa Maria, which is Forze Furia. They'll be renaming the boat after this race if they advance. They're in the middle, you have the Merger, 2017 champion, a boat loaded with Gigolonis and Morrisseys. And to the right, you have Danger Zone. It's a lot of younger kids. They won the junior championship 2 years ago, and they're looking to cause maybe a little bit of a ripple in the water this year and maybe advance to Saturday and knock off one of these top dogs.
And let's talk about the game within the game, which is I'm keeping an eye on Assistant Harbor Master Chad Johnson's snack count today. So we'll see what he's doing over there on the boat. They keep a close eye on all the competitors here too. So we want to say cheers to them, the Gloucester Police Department. We are at the 92nd Annual St. Peter's Fiesta. The carnival gets away tonight. Then you have the 5K road race tomorrow evening, and then we'll be back with you for Greasy Polo Sailboat coverage Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The weather looks good. The crowd is psyched. People have been talking up Fiesta this year for a variety of different reasons. They've been waiting for it. Could have been the long winter and the long spring, and people have that itch to get out here and enjoy the weather. Or, around here, this is the beginning of summer. So here we go.
They're lining up and they're getting ready. You can see they're feathering. The bowmen are feathering once again, trying to get a little bit of a lead for their boat. AJ Orlando, his hands are up in the danger zone to the far right. And To the left is Mike Jarvis, Forza Furia, looking to rename the boat if they can advance. In the middle of the merger, Vito Gigoloni, veteran coxman. He is not going to be putting his hands up without a lead. It looks like they're bringing him back again. And just a reminder that you can do shout-outs on our St. Peter's app. Just go to the St. Peter's app homepage, and you'll see shout-outs. Okay, and we'll give you shout-outs during this event. And it's great to hear from people from all over the country. And yep, we've gotten them from Terracini. We get them from Terracini every year, and that's actually where the greasy pole was invented, was Terracini, where the pole came out from the peninsula, and it stood at approximately 50 feet, and that's where it started.
And you see some of the old film footage of Fiesta and greasy pole competitions where the pole is actually vertical sometimes. So that was pretty crazy when I saw that for the first time too. But just one of the amazing traditions, a multitude of them that come over from the old country in Sicily to here in the States, and especially in Gloucester, our hometown. And like I said, we're just so happy and proud to share this event with everybody, and hope you stay with us throughout the weekend. And we'll see how things go. But like we said, this is always a delicate situation, lining up all the seine boats. It's not easy to get everybody lined up and in sync so we can get that final raise of the hand from Jimmy Tarantino and light off today's event. So that's what we're waiting for. But like we said, if you're looking left to right, Forza Furia, the merger in the middle, Danger Zone on the right, 2 out of 3 advance. So here we go.
Yep, and let's also, something we'd like to do each time that we'll be broadcasting, which is today, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, is just, number one is a moment of silence for all of the loved ones out there that have maybe have felt a loss in right recently, but also our vets. Our vets, we have vets rowing today, but the vets sacrifice so much. And for example, John Francis, who's with Forza Furia, he was in the Army, active duty. Mike Mitchell was Army National Guard, I believe it was. You have Jeff Muse in the Navy. My brother Dave Nicastro, actually, who had a medical issue this week and had to pull off the champs, and he can't row with the champs just yet because of his medical condition. But they're looking to get started right now. Then AJ Orlando's hands are up to the right. Danger Zone. Mike Jarvis is the next one to make his move to the far left. And the merger in the middle waiting. Mike Jarvis, when his hands are on his knees, Mike, you're giving a tell away. Usually when he does that, he's getting ready, telling his bowman to pick up the stroke. It goes up. And to the right, AJ Orlando's hands went down. And Vito Gigoloni in the middle now looking. Mike Jarvis's hands are back down again because AJ's came down to the far right. And it looks like they're going to spin him around again. But, yeah, just a shout-out to all of our military out there, the vets that are rowing, the vets that are either in this area or across the country. It means a lot for you guys to do what you do for us on a daily basis. And it's just a really great to have such a tremendous military in the United States of America.
And we raise a glass to all of them, who have served or who continue to serve. We're lucky at our age now to really, really be involved in some veterans efforts groups. And one thing that I'm involved is the Welcome Home Initiative. We raise money to put care packages together for local veterans here in Gloucester and Cape Ann. They usually come home from their tours over the winter, and every March, like the Elks will put on a big public luncheon for them and thank them. And we present them with care packages, and it's everything from how to get your cable turned back on, gift cards and things like that, to therapeutic stuff. So a multitude of reasons there too. So we can't thank them enough, the men and women proudly serving and who have served. So cheers to you, and let's hope we can get these boats settled in. Now, John, is this really just gamesmanship going on right now?
So being a coach of other sports, and I rowed back in the day and walked the pole, I know when it comes to rowing, you don't want to give away an inch, and there isn't a sport out there that you want to give away an inch. These guys started rowing on Saturday. They only had Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday to tidy up their strokes. It's not like you can practice throughout the year because, Corey, when you're rowing on a rower at the gym or in a dory, it's a little different than these elements.
I would think so, too. And the way we had winter and spring this year, there wasn't much chance for these guys to get out in the water and give it a go anyway.
Yeah, and here they go. They're trying to get going. So to the right, AJ Orlando, the coxman, hands up. There he goes. To the right, Mike Jarvis, hands up. And we're waiting for Vito Gigoloni. He's telling his guys, let's go, let's go, let's go. He's trying to get the bows to get a little bit more. and the bowmen are picking up their stroke. Their hands are still up. Mike Jarvis and AJ Orlando. Vito's waiting to get there. They go, and they're off. Your 2019 St. Peter's Fiesta Elimination Wednesday is off. All three boats get a nice start. Looks like the boats to the left in the middle, Forze Fury in the middle boat, the Merger, really jumped out of the gate. And to the right, Danger Zone. Looks like they fell behind right away. But it looks like to start out, to the left, Forze Fury has a slight lead already.
Strong start for Forze Fury and the Merger now. We'll see if Danger Zone, who is the dark horse in this event, but they're game, and they're trying to scrap their way back in this now. But we're just underway here. They're just beyond the greasy pole and heading out to the Atlantic Blue.
Yep, so they're on their way out. They're going to be going a half a mile out, half a mile back. But on the way out, they have to turn. No one's going to do it for them. So when they get a half a mile out, you'll see flags. It's hard to see them from here. But to the left, you have a red flag. In the middle, you have a white flag. And to the right, there's a blue flag. And the boat to the left has to turn their flag. The middle, turn their flag. And the right boat has to turn their flag. And they'll go a half a mile out, turn the flag. During that turn, the scuttler comes into a crucial part of this. Well, right now, actually, the scuttler has to have a good line going to the flag. And then 5 oars come out of the water, 5 oars stay in. 5 guys turn the boat with the scuttler and the coach doing the trick. And typically when you go into the turn is one time that you can either gain or lose the race.
Crucial, like you said, for the scuttler to keep everybody in a straight line here as they make their way out towards the flags. You can see a ton of boat traffic now is gathering around the boats to sort of get a sneak peek in and follow this along here too. Don't know if that affects the guys at all, if they're literally just looking at the back in front of them and working on their strokes, or if they're feeling any of that bump and push from the wakes.
There's no doubt that they're feeling a little bit of it, but when you're rowing, you're supposed to be concentrating in the oar in front of you and the oar in front of you only. You're not supposed to look ahead at another oar. You're not supposed to look to the side of a boat, maybe making a move, which means they might be giving some quicker strokes just to get their boat moving a little faster. At this point, the boat should be lengthening out their stroke, a nice longer stroke, 10 oars in the water acting as one, laying back in their stroke. And right now it looks to the left like Forze Furia has the lead. The Merger looks like number 2 in the middle, and as expected, Danger Zone to the right just looks like they're slowly falling behind.
Well, we'll see if they can pick it up here as they make their way towards the flags. It's a tight race. I will say I'm impressed, all 3. Really tight line on their way out there to the flag. So I guess the question here as we make our way towards the flag, John, is does Iron Village have what it takes this year, in your estimation?
So Iron Village is your 2018 champions. The crew has been together for a couple of years, going on their 3rd year. 2 years ago in 2017 was the Merger. They walked away with it. The Iron Village probably lost by 4 or 5 boats. They kept the crew together. Last year, they got better every day, having more races, and they're your 2018 champion last year. Now, that's a tough question because repeating is very difficult. It's hard to gauge your adjustments because you have one day to race on Sunday. But just to give props to the 2018 champs, Iron Village, you have Paul Gigaloni and Phil Gigaloni as your coxman and scuttler. You have Paul Simon, Jay Hillenbreck as the lead oarsman, Ryan Mueller and Gilbert Brown, Chad Motter and Kellen O'Malley, Derek Morris and Ray D'Amico. Ray D'Amico took Dave Nicastro's spot, who had a medical condition this year. Jerry Shimataro and Mike Tarantino in the bow. They have a solid crew. They're a championship crew. Do they have what it takes? I think we have to see what happens today and on Saturday to see like what's panning out. But it looks like Forze Furia to the left, who came in 2nd last year, your 2016 champion. They added some muscle to their boat. I think if there is a new champion, my early prediction is it's going to be Forze Furia, and whatever their new name's going to be, I think that could be a new champion, pending on how this race goes in their next race.
Well, they're off to a real strong start, John. I mean, that's for sure. As they're heading still out towards, they're probably past the, I'd say the 4/10 of a mile mark as they're getting ready to hit the flags there too. So if you're just tuning in, you got Forze Furia on the left, the Merger, that's in the middle, Danger Zone far to the right. As you see them making the turn now, and this, of course, is an elimination heat. Only 2 out of these 3 get to advance. And then we're going to have another heat after this. But right now, all the focus is on the home stretch and how these guys perform.
So what I will say about this is Merger what must have made a move before the pin, and the merger actually got to the turn first, and then out of the turn first, and convincingly out of the turn first. And that's why you never underestimate a boat full of champions. And it looks like coming out of the turn, they might have a boat plus lead. Forza Furia went into the turn slightly second, by not by much over the danger zone. And it looks like they had a rough turn, so you don't know, was it did they hit a wave? Did someone miss a stroke? There's a number of different things it could be, but coming out of the turn, it looked like Danger Zone and Forza Furia might have came out together, and Danger Zone might have been a 10 boat underdog in this one.
Well, you don't know if Forza Furia took that a little too wide. One thing we can say, the merger was so tight on that turn, it's like they did it on a dime.
And Corey, you got that exactly right. In the merger last year, they went into the pin last year, which the pin is the turn, and they had a lead going into the pin, and they went by the flag by maybe a boat length, and it ended up being one of the worst turns Joe Balbo had in a long time. And you say Joe Balbo, but it's not all Joe Balbo. It could have been they went in too fast. It can be a number of different things, but like a quarterback, when he throws an interception, doesn't matter if the ball was tipped.
Well, now I'm just looking from here, John. You tell me what you see, but who do you think is keeping the tightest line right now?
Well, there's no doubt about it that Merger has a big lead right now. I would say they're up by at least 3 boats plus. And to the left, it looks like Forza Fury is losing two danger zone.
Yeah, they might be. It looks like they're struggling and listing a little bit. Definitely off their line. We'll see if it costs them here, if they can somehow make a little miraculous turnaround here.
Yeah, and you never know what's going on the boat. Last year, Iron Village had 2 oars on the way out on Saturday that had to come out of the water at different times because of snapped lines. And there could be something going on in that boat, because for Forza Furia to be even, it looks like they might be even right now with the danger zone, who is to the far right, and Merger having a big lead in the middle. There could be something going on in that boat that we're not aware of.
Well, and this could be a pretty cool story if Danger Zone does something here and pulls off an upset. So we'll keep our eyes on that for sure. And we'll see. It looks like the strokes are still pretty even here, too. Like, I don't see a whole lot of lag, but it looks like Forza Furia just kind of moved to the left a bit while Danger Zone and the Merger kind of kept in their lines.
Yeah, and you can see now that it's almost like a little triangle here, where Merger is the point and they have the lead in the middle, and then the 2 boats behind are close. And from this perspective, this angle, it looks like Danger Zone to the right might be edging out Forza Furia. Forza Furia has to be very careful right now not to burn out like the Merger did last year, and kind of just lengthen their stroke and let their experience advance them to Saturday, and not get too nervous about the moment. Let their stroke, they still got a ways to go. Let their stroke and strength and experience take them to the next round, and that's all that matters.
Yeah, and already we have police and Coast Guard out there trying to keep some of the boaters away from the competitors here too. It's getting pretty chaotic. We have a nice crowd gathered here on the beach watching this. Like John said, the Merger has a comfortable lead right now, but of course 2 out of 3 advance. So our eyes are on Forza Furia and Danger Zone right now as we head down towards the wire here.
Yeah, and just so some people might ask, well, why is 2 out of 3 advance in this race, and the next race is a 2-boat race? Because they have drawing. It's not just who you know and how you get there. Well, it could be if you have a double-sided head coin, but like they draw out of a hat, and they draw 3 boats, and whatever 3 they are face each other, and that was this race. 2 advance to Saturday, but right now we have a battle coming in for second place, and you have to the left Forza Furia, your 2016 champion. To the far right is Danger Zone, who is a lot of inexperienced rowers, and last year lost a very close race. But if they were going up against anyone like Forza Furia last year, they would have been demolished. But this isn't last year. This is this year. And the Merger with a big lead, about to go into the Greasy Pole Shuffle. To the left is Forza Furia. To the right is Danger Zone, and it looks like Forza Furia has made a move, and it looks like they are gonna sneak out maybe with second place. In the middle, you have Merger. To the left, you have Forza Furia. To the right, Danger Zone, and you can see the splashing of the water to the right. And like I was saying, Corey, experience to the left is paying off in Forza Furia.
You're absolutely right. You can see a game effort from Danger Zone, but you're seeing a lot of splash now. Some of the oars a little bit out of sync. But hey, cheers to here on the Pinta is the Merger a killer showing today on Pavilion Beach. As the
No-
crowd goes nuts.
No doubt about it. The Pinter and the Merger, they're advancing on to Sunday. And to the left, you have Forza Furia, who let experience just outtake Danger Zone to the right, who had a good, very respectable showing out of Danger Zone. But you can see the splashing of the water. They just ran out of gas.
That was great. So you'd have to say like the Merger by maybe 3 boat lengths. And then I would say Forza Furia probably by a good 2 to 3 boat lengths over Danger Zone.
Yeah, that sounds about accurate. It looked like the Merger in the middle. Yeah, I would say at least 2 to 3 boats there, not more than 3, not less than 2.
Yeah.
And it looks like Forza Furia to the left, who will have a new name, put on the heat on Danger Zone, and it's experience, Corey. They had 10 oars in the water still, and in the Danger Zone to the right would be lucky if they had 3 or 4 oars in the water at the same time.
I'd be interested to see what Jarvis and Orlando what they have to say about their cruise today. We don't know how much energy they spent doing this. The guys, for the most part, they look pretty fresh, especially the Merger.
Yeah, no, the Merger, the middle boat, your 2017 champions, a boatload of Gigalonis and Morrisseys. You throw in a Belbo and a McRobin, you could have a 2019 champion. But you got Vito Gigaloni, Joe Belbo, that's your Coxman and your Scuttler. Dylan Morrissey and Chris Gigaloni, Vito Gigaloni, Clayton Morrissey, Nick Gigaloni, Mike Mitchell, Mark Gigaloni, Joe Gigaloni, Lucas McRobb, and Seth Morrissey. 2019 Wednesday, advance, first place. And in second place, advancing, is Forza Furia. We'll see what their new name's going to be. Your Coxman, Mike Jarvis. Your Scuttler is Mike Harmon. Peter Mondello, Vincenzo Terranova, Peter Terramina, Matt Pardee, L.J. Robinson, Sam Terramina, John Francis, Brett Cahill, Wayne Morris, and J.J. Pelazzola. So a shout-out to both of those crews. Forza Furia, the Merger, advancing to Saturday. And to the far right, they gave a great effort and just ran out of maybe gas, or just the stroke itself got a little bit too much for them. A young crew, but looked good. You have Coxman, A.J. Orlando. You have the Scuttler, Phil Francis. And then you have Martin Christensen, Justin Burrell, John Dyer, Rick Terrain, Joe Pleasure, John Clegg, Paul O'Fish, John Ferrante, Mike Galante, Matt Nose. So they will be going home. And the other two, the Merger, Forza Furia, advancing to Saturday.
And I've got all the competitors from Heat 1 getting off the boats now, heading off towards Pavilion Beach. But we're not done yet. We still have a second heat today between Chaos and Dirty Oars. So we're going to bring that to you. Only one can advance. So everything's on the line for them today. Like I said, this was a great showing here in the first heat with Forza Furia and the Merger advancing. And cheers to Danger Zone for a game effort all around, too. Great job by those guys. And like John said, a young crew, promising. We'll see them in years ahead, I would think.
Yeah, young to the boat, but the age in the boat isn't as young as some would expect. Like, we have a real young crew coming in. But we're going to go to some commercials, Corey. They deserve their commercials. They're some of our sponsors: Craney Home Services, Blue Collar Lobster, Gloucester House Restaurant, St. Peter's Fiesta Committee, Streamography. And we'll catch you back in a couple minutes when we get ready for heat number 2, which is going to be Chaos versus Dirty Oars.
Elsewhere, it's going to be near 90 degrees, and when you factor in the humidity, this is a look at the heat index at about 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. It's going to feel like it's in the lower 90s, Boston, all the way up into Portsmouth.
you like this guy, struggling year in and year out to get that heavy AC back in the window? In only a couple of hours, Cranny Home Services can easily install a sleek ductless split unit so you never have to go through the struggle again. They're far more efficient than traditional air conditioners. Your walls and ceilings won't have to be ripped apart. You'll never have to move it, and it even gives off some heat in the winter. So if you want to learn more about how you can save money and aggravation with the ductless split unit, we'd love to chat with you here at Cranny Home Services. You can give us a call at 1-800-CRANNY or visit our website at crannyhomeservices.com.
At Cranny Home Services, a satisfied customer is a beautiful thing.
Okay, welcome back to the 2019 St. Peter's Fiesta Elimination Wednesday Senior Same Boats. I'm your host, John Nicastro, and with me is Corey Kukuru. Hey, Corey, we're back on here.
Loving it. How's everyone doing today? We have 70-plus degrees here at Pavilion Beach in Gloucester. Absolutely gorgeous out. Nice breeze coming in off the water. You just missed the merger and Forza Furia advancing to this weekend's competition, just outlasting the danger zone. Proud to bring you Heat 2 here today.
Yep, Heat 2. And before we get into Heat 2, we're going to have some shout-outs. And remember, you can go to the St. Peter's app developed by Streamography, Andrew Nicastro. And our shout-outs are coming. You go right to that homepage and click on the icon drop, and you'll go to shout-outs. And we have Pete Flanagan from Brunswick, Ohio. Hey, Pete, thank you for the shout out. Born and raised in Gloucester, he said. We love that. You're born and raised. We're glad you're watching from Ohio. We also have Joe and daughter, Gabby Lucido, the Lucido family, very popular family, watching from Mados Field. Isn't that kind of near Ohio?
That's near me, over in East Gloucester. But yeah, we'll take Mados any day of the week.
Absolutely. Mados Field, a tremendous field that a lot of great softball has been played, and they're having actually the softball championships there. Game number 2, Vikings versus Rockets. Congratulations to both of those teams for making it. And a shout out, thank you, Joe and daughter Gabby. So any shout outs, go to the St. Peter's Fiesta app, or we're getting ready for heat number 2 on Elimination Wednesday. Chaos versus a junior crew from a couple years ago, Dirty Oars. And in Chaos, one of the all-time great crews, a 6-time champion, 2000, 2002, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2013. So they had 3 in a row, not able to get the 4 in a row that the only crew of all time has in Desire in 83, 84, 85, and 86. But Chaos, led by Joe Novello, the coxman, one of the all-time greats. He's pretty much a saint of this Fiella. Only second to St. Peter is Joe Novello. Incredible guy, incredible coxman. A shout out to Joe for all that he does for Gloucester and the St. Peter's Fiesta and more. The scuttler steers the boat and turns the boat is Timmy Oakes, another legend. The lead oarsmen, Eric Dombrowski and Glenn Harrington. Tom T.C. Conrad, a legend in the rowing world and many other industrial sports through the industry. Wally Mayers, Len Robinson, Brian Burke, Jeff Muse, Janda, Ricky Munn, Matt Dreyer. That's your Chaos crew this year. And in the Dirty Oar boat, we have Gappa. He will be a scuttler. Vinny Orlando will be the coxman, and Vinny Orlando is self-proclaimed the greatest same boat person of all time. He calls himself the GOAT. Other beg to differ on which type of GOAT, but Vincent Orlando will tell you he's the greatest, the most titles of all time, and I believe it's 13, and he says he's the GOAT of the same boat world.
He is the Bill Russell of same boat racing. Yeah, we love Vinny. Not afraid to tell you how great Vinny is. It's Vinny. Yeah. So yeah, thanks for that, Vinny. So yeah, we'd love to go on about what other great things Vinny is at, but we'll get back to the races here soon. Yeah, we got Chaos and Dirty Oars. Only one advances to this weekend's competition.
And what do you think of? I mean, I'm not the Dirty Oar name. I mean, the same boat oar. It's a 45-pound oar, as you can see them in the water. They're 45 pounds, and they can be dirty. And that's the name, Dirty Oars.
You got to love the wordplay there. Hey, listen, you got to have some fun out here, too. I mean, it's we're talking about bragging rights at the end of the day. A lot of pride on the line. So whatever's going to give you that little bit of levity, or you feel maybe brings you a little bit of edge, or take some of the edge off, you got to use it.
I agree with that. But you got Gapper as the scuttler, Vincent Orlando. He said that he would never come back, and if he does come back, that's only to a crew that will win the championship. No disrespect to the young guys, but there hasn't been a young crew that has won it since the kids. And you know who the coxman was of the kids?
Let me have it, John.
Vincent Orlando. They won it at 18 and 19 years old, and he said this could be the new version of the kids.
Oh, wow. Sounds like Vinny's like the Kevin Durant of the same boat racing world. He'll just follow wherever the ring is.
That's what he does. But he said last year at a little gathering at John Novello's house, cousin of Joe Novello. There's a lot of cousins in Gloucester, and he said that as he was trying to push Paul Gigaloni out of when he went to the bathroom out of the Iron Village and trying to somehow sneak the Iron Village crew away, he said the only way he'll come back is if a crew has a shot to win it all. That's what he said. And now he's in a crew that was 2 years ago junior champs. Last year, lost by, I would say, about 20 boats to the first place team. Mm-hmm. And they hit a wave last year, and I thought they were going to Wingasheek.
So we could be in for some fun stuff this afternoon. See how this thing plays out. But yeah, a lot of talk has been going on. These guys have a year between races to get in everybody's faces and break bread and do all that too, and laugh and chat about it. So yeah. Not surprised that people are flapping their gums about this, but now, hey, you got to put your money where your mouth is, right?
That's right. And Vincent's not afraid to speak how he feels. There's no doubt about that. He will tell you exactly how he feels, and that's what we all love about him, is that he will tell you how he feels.
Oh yeah, it's one of the great things about growing up around here and being part of this community. It's the characters. I mean, there's just one after the other, and we've rattled off about 20 or 30 different people today that mean a lot to the community and to this event and Fiesta as a whole. So it's cool just to share these sights and sounds with you today through Streamology.
Yep. So Streamography is Andrew Nicastro. I'll correct you, Corey. Don't worry, buddy. I got your back. President of the class of 1992. He was an absolute legend. But you got Andrew Nicastro, the inventor of the St. Peter's app and Streamography. I just feel to be delighted to actually be part of his app, because he brings so much to the entire country for the St. Peter's event. People that cannot get here, Andrew decided to put his little brain together, which is now a huge brain, and develop the St. Peter's app. And now people from Terracini, Sicily, all over this world can watch from Maidosfield, right around the corner. There's a youth softball game, and they can watch it from there and enjoy this game. My brother, Andrew Nicastro, developing this app, Streamography. Thank you to Andrew. Bringing up here Corey Kukuru. Like, I loved being first fiddle, but when you're with Corey commentating, you have to say, I have to be the Scottie Pippen here, because he is the Michael Jordan of this show.
Well, and I guess the real question is, what will Andrew put his little brain towards next? You never know.
You don't know when it comes to Andrew. You don't know what he's going to invent. He thought of Facebook before of whatever Bugga. What is his name?
Zuckerberg.
Yeah, Zuckerberg. Andrew actually told me all about that, and next thing you know, Facebook was invented right before he pulled the trigger. About $240 billion later, we're up on the beach of Pavilion with Streamography, and we love it.
Yeah, Zuckerberg's worth about $400 billion. We're up here fighting for Angry Orchards.
Andrew is paying me this year. He's buying me a drink at Drift, and that's all I asked for. That's what family's about. Craney Home Services, a sponsor, Blue Collar Lobster, Gloucester House Restaurant. Gloucester House Restaurant just has, it's right around the Corey corner, Corey. And you talk about one of the better restaurants. Forget about Gloucester. You're talking about maybe in the whole entire state of Massachusetts, right on the water. The Linquata family. Just, you go there and they have great drinks, great ambiance, great service, great food. I mean, anything on their menu is just absolutely amazing. The Blue Collar Lobsters, something they developed a couple years ago outside. Corey, you know a lot about the food industry, and tell me about it.
Well, it's hard as hell. It's one, you couldn't pay me to be a part of it, and I do get to work with a lot of local businesses and restaurants and caterers and bakeries around here, and to see what the Linquatas have done generation after generation and stuck it out and be as like robust and strong as they are. It's a testament to them. It's a testament to their customers, and they're standing in the community too. It's not easy doing what they do, and you see, we say there's 28,000 people in Gloucester, 29,000 restaurants, but there's always that handful that are just there year after year after year and deliver, and they are definitely one of them, right at the top.
Yeah, and Corey, if you don't be careful getting out of your chair on some of the tables there, you could fall in the water.
This is true. Yeah, you're sitting in there. You might as well be 6 inches in. You can't beat the views. You can't beat your standing right there, right on top of the Atlantic and the working waterfront. And they're literally like, that's one of the crown jewels of Gloucester right there is the Gloucester House. So we want to thank Lenny and Dottie for all their years of service, and thank today's sponsors. We're just happy to bring this to you, man. I can't say it enough. Gorgeous weather, gorgeous time, great competition, and we're looking forward to a really great weekend here, the 92nd annual St. Peter's Fiesta.
And to add one more to the Gloucester House and Blue Collar. Blue Collar is just a division of the Gloucester House. Last year, Corey, there was tourists just watching a lobster boat come in, and obviously they all gather up around the lobster boat, and as they pull the tote up full of lobsters, literally going from the tote into the lobster tank. You're talking about some places you wonder if they're fresh. I mean, I think these are fresh.
Yeah, seriously, that's lobster porn for a tourist. You have no idea where your seafood comes from when you're in one of the square-shaped states or you're out of town. It's like, who can get seafood when you're out of town when you come from a place like here? I'm used to, like, my dad coming home from work every day with a plastic bag full of haddock fillets. Like, that's how we grew up, And, yeah, like I said, everywhere you turn is fresh fish. If you're not catching it yourself, I mean, anywhere you want to go around here and get the best seafood in the world, it's right here. So we want to say St. Peter's Fiesta, man, that's the patron saint overlooking the fishermen, too. So we want to definitely give a shout-out to all the fishermen and fisherwomen and their families for generation after generation after generation. We're still in the fight. This is still a working waterfront. We're one of the few working waterfronts left around, and we're not going away anytime soon.
And no, not at all. Not especially with the support that we have throughout the state, and having Safathia as our mayor. And a shout out to Safathia and her family as they're dealing with Matza, a legend in the greasy pole world. Matza Giamunco just battling cancer, and I know Matza from years ago. A good friend of the family, growing up down the fort with my dad and many cousins, and played against them in flag football, which is one of the toughest guys you could ever go against. My early days, I stay away from the middle with Matza, but Matza Giamunco, a legend in the greasy pole world. And
yeah, and obviously a delicate situation. I talked to Safathi a couple of days ago about it, and our prayers and thoughts, of course, are with the entire family there too. And you knew they mentioned a couple of days ago that they weren't going to be cooking like they do for any passerby to come by and enjoy Fiesta with them. That it's obviously a tenuous situation. So we're thinking about them at this time. But of course, the traditions carry on. The loved ones carry on with you. They're with you always. And it's just another part of the lore, too, and what the Giamancos have done for this community. So you can't go without saying that. Hey, it's a special time. To me, my favorite part about Fiesta in this time of year is you come back to this area and you see all these familiar faces. They could be relatives or friends you haven't seen who are still living here year-round, or it's the folks who have lived away or moved away, and they just come back to visit. One of the quirkiest things about Gloucester is people come back to see everybody else for Fiesta. It's not like Christmas or Thanksgiving. It's Fiesta when everyone else comes home. So I've already run into dozens and dozens of familiar faces, and this is just Wednesday. We have this going on all weekend long for you, all kinds of action. The carnival kicks off open tonight. We've got Barry Mooney is going to be performing at the stage and altar in St. Peter's Square or St. Peter's Park. And then, of course, tomorrow you have the Fiesta 5K road race. That is being brought to you by the Cape Ann YMCA. Those proceeds go to, I believe it's called the Summer Learning Loss Prevention Program. Basically, it's a reading program for second and third graders who may have been a little bit behind in their schoolwork or reading adequacy levels. And the Y helps sponsor this event. And they have tutoring and brings these kids up to par. So when the new school year starts, they're on par with all the other students going again. So that's what the Fiesta 5K road race is all about. And that's turned into a big event, and that's going to be 6:30 tomorrow evening. And then John and I are going to be back with you throughout the weekend for same boat race competition and greasy pole competition here through Streamography. So look forward to that. Like I said, right from the top, this is the elimination race between Chaos and Dirty Oars. The merger and Forza Furia advanced just a few moments ago. And we have the guys that are sort of trolling around in the water getting ready here. And I'll kick this back to John, who's got some info for you.
Yeah, and just to add the importance of Matza to this Fiesta, and not only how we walked in the St. Peter's Parade every Sunday for decades and decades, carrying St. Peter, which is one of the most admirable things and honorable things that you can do, and putting him to sleep on a Sunday night as well. He also was a greasy pole legend. When he won the greasy pole 1975 on Saturday and Sunday. He won it in 1977, 1978, and 1980. A 5-time champion. One of the only champs that have won it more than once. Well, won it once, let alone more than once. But a 5-time champion. He's in the discussions of the greatest of all time. So to the Giamunco family, our prayers go with you, to you guys, and thank you to Matza for all that you've done for the Fiesta and in this year's events, and watching the greasy pole, because we know how much you love it. And We're going to take a commercial break. So we have Cranny Home Services, Blue Collar Lobster, the Gloucester House Restaurant, St. Peter's Fiesta, and Streamography, the designer of the St. Peter's app. So we'll be back to you in a few minutes. This is John Nicastro, 2019 St. Peter's Fiesta with Corey Kukuru.
At Cranny Home Services, a satisfied customer is a beautiful thing.
Elsewhere, it's going to be near 90 degrees, and when you factor in the humidity, this is a look at the heat index at about 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. It's going to feel like it's in the lower 90s, Boston, all the way up into Portsmouth.
Are you like this guy, struggling year in and year out to get that heavy AC back in the window? In only a couple of hours, Cranny Home Services can easily install a sleek ductless split unit so you never have to go through the struggle again. They're far more efficient than traditional air conditioners, your walls and ceilings won't have to be ripped apart, you'll never have to move it, and it even gives off some heat in the winter. So if you want to learn more about how you can save money and aggravation with the ductless split unit, we'd love to chat with you here at Cranny Home Services. You can give us a call at 1-800-CRANNY or visit our website at crannyhomeservices.com.
Okay, so welcome back to the 2019 St. Peter's Fiesta Elimination Wednesday. I'm your host, John Nicastro, with Corey Kukuru, and we're going to go right into some shout-outs here. We have actually one shout-out. So the St. Peter's app, you can go right to it, go to the drop-down bar, shout-outs, and we can give you a shout-out. It's from Brendan Chipperini. Hey, Brendan, how are you, buddy? Gloucester, Mass. Firefighter, sorry, buddy. Policeman. He's been on the force for probably close to a decade now. He gives us a shout-out. Love the veteran shout-out. Let's go. Viva St. Pedro. See you on the pole Friday. And Brendan, hopefully you can take it down on Friday. We got a great event on Friday, our Greasy Pole event. If you can win Friday, Brendan will advance to Saturday and back to Sunday. And no thank you to the veteran shout-outs, because our veterans deserve a shout-out every day. I wish every day we had a moment of silence for our active veterans and the ones that are retired and the ones that might have passed. But without our veterans, where would we be, Corey?
Great point, John, all around. So, yeah, it's an honorable weekend, and we have a lot of people working and playing in honor of loved ones, past and present, and we're just here to help carry on that tradition and bring that to you. So it's a privilege for us to bring this to you.
Yep, and here we go. We're in Elimination Wednesday for our senior men's division. In the first race today, in our first heat, we had a 3-boat heat between Forza Furia. They're going to have a new name. They were your 2016 champ. The Merger, with a boatload of Gigalonis and Morrisseys, was your 2017 champ. And they went up against Danger Zone. And Forza Furia in the Merger advanced to Saturday. The Merger first place by probably 2+ boats, not more than 3 though. And Forza Furia came in second, beating out Danger Zone by at least a couple boats, if not 3. They will advance to Saturday. And this race right here, coming up in the second heat, we have Dirty Oars, a young crew. 2 years ago, they were in the junior division and were your champions in the junior division. And the scuttler who's steering the boat and turning the boat is Gappa. And the coxman, who is the coach, is Vincent Orlando, the self-proclaimed GOAT of the same boat world. And in the boat itself, lead oarsmen Alex Rodolosi, Steve Totoni, Jared Morris, Chris Cassaterri, Jake Schrock, John Philpott, Jermaine Edwards, Chris Birgo, Alex Militello, and Chris Mack. That's the Dirty Oars. See what they can do. And now it's Chaos by the legendary Joe Novello. That's your coxman, the legend of the game, one of the all-time greats. Timmy Oakes, the scuttler, one of your all-time great scuttlers, if not the best of all time. Eric Dombrowski and Glenn Harrington, your lead oarsmen. Tom T.C. Conrad, Wally Maz, Lenny Robinson, Brian Burke, Joe Sands, Janda Ricky Munn, Jeff Muse, Matt Drayan, Chaos, 2000, 2002, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2013, 6-time champion, arguably the greatest crew of all time by some.
No, they're in the discussion for sure. Hard to argue with 6 wins. So we'll see what this contest brings today, and we'll see if they can tack another one up for one on the trophy case this weekend.
And Joe Novello, he has a great argument, Corey, because he was also on Desire.
Yeah, we could be talking about the single greatest seine boater of all time is Joe Novello. I mean, he's racking up the titles here left and right. Still in the game, which is cool to see. And a huge part not only of the seine boat races, but just Fiesta as a whole. So awesome to see him out there.
Now, it's a debate for argument, Corey. Like where Vincent Orlando is self-proclaimed the greatest of all time in the seine boat world. He says when you add up all the coaches, the scuttlers, just the team, the greatest of all time is Vincent Orlando. He's self-proclaimed. You don't hear Joe Novello talk that way about
I
himself.
was just going to say, Vinny talks the game. Joe's walked the game. So what are we talking about here, Vinny?
Right, and you're talking like, all right, so Chaos is arguably the greatest crew of all time. And if they're not the greatest crew of all time, the greatest crew of all time is Desire because they have 4, and Joe Novello's on both of them.
It's a great point. And let's talk about what the seine boat races were like back in the early 80s when they won it, too. Totally different all the way around. So, hey, 4 in a row. Those are the dynasties. You're talking Edmonton Oilers, New York Islanders. I mean, those are 4 in a row. That just doesn't happen anymore. Old-time Celtics and Desire.
And Vincent's argument, Vincent, I will say it for you, whether it's true or not true, because sometimes you see his nose like Pinocchio sometimes. You ever notice that at the St. Peter's Club?
It is right. The St. Peter's Club, the Elks, mile marker. You want me to go on?
He always says it's a boogie, but it grows. It's a big-ass boogie sometimes.
Vinny's going to love this. I'm going to have to buy him a beer, though, or 3.
Right, absolutely. It's with him, positive and negative advertising is great advertising.
Yeah, there's no such thing as bad publicity.
So Vincent, though, like we will say of Vincent, what his argument is when you talk about Joe Novello and some of the greats of all time. His argument is with Joe Novello, which I don't know if it's true because it's so distorted. He says that Joe Novello with Chaos has rode with 100 different guys, where Vincent has rode with only 14 or 15 different guys, a handful. Mind you, there's 10 rowers, a cuttler and a scotsman, and his first title was with the kids in the 70s, but he's only rowed with about 15. Now today jumps it up to 27. So I don't know if that's true.
Well, all joking aside, though, I mean that's a pretty serious point that he makes. I mean you have to take that in, but it's hard to deny. I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about how many rings you have, right?
That's right, and like the Morrisseys, we'll admit that they're definitely a quiet group, the Morrisseys.
Oh yeah, to a person.
No doubt that they're quiet. Some will say that that Vincent has never won without a Morrissey in his boat.
That's a lot of people could say that, right? Yeah. Well, starting with Vinny, but yeah, I mean, we can talk. I mean, we've got some heavy hitters in here throughout the weekend, and hey, Vinny can just find a way to glom on to whoever's running hot, and somehow he'll take credit for it. But you know, that's the way the game's played.
Right. So right now we have Vincent Orlando, the Coxman in Dirty Oars, going up against Chaos, one of the great crews of all time. And does Vincent have what it takes as the coach to pull off the greatest coaching upset in the history of the same boat?
Right. Totally different ball game now, right? Now you're at the one end of the boat, and now you're the guide. You're their North Star. So let's see if he has what it takes to lead his men to victory today. And it's a totally different story. So that'll be interesting to see. And like, hey, it's winner take all today just to advance. So we expect nothing but like a crazy, flat out, chaotic 1 mile of competition.
And we have to go to it because on Sunday, Championship Sunday, Corey, it's the greatest day of the year for many. Many will say that that is their Christmas. Championship Sunday, where there'll be 2 boats that advance from Saturday. There'll be a 3-boat race on Saturday. 2 boats advance to Sunday, and Championship Sunday, the biggest day of them all. It's the granddaddy of them all, where there will be one champion, and the champion right now, 2018, Iron Village, the champions, edging out Forza Furia, who's back to Saturday by maybe a seat or 2. And in the champions boat, Iron Village, you have Paul Gigaloni and Phil Gigaloni, Coxman and Scuttler. Then you have Paul Simon and Jay Hillenbrecht, your lead oarsmen. 2 unbelievable lead oarsmen, maybe the 2 best lead oarsmen in the game on the same team at this time, where obviously there's been great lead oarsmen through the years, but these might be your best 2. You might have Michael Jordan A1, Michael Jordan A2 on the same crew. Now you have Ryan Mueller and Gilbert Brown. I got Gilbert Brown on the boat last year, which I would say typically would make a boat difference in who they had there prior, and they won by two seats, so I think it was a big pickup. Chad Mata and Kellen O'Malley, and you have Derek Morris, Ray D'Amico. Ray D'Amico filled in for Dave Nicastro, my brother, who had just a medical setback this week and had to bow out of the boat late, and they filled it in with a legend. Ray D'Amico has a lot of championships in the same boat world.
Savvy pickup, you got to say that. And if you're just tuning in, we want to give a shout out to the Merger and Forza Furia in our first heat today. The Merger just ran away with it. They ended up winning by 2 to 3 boat lengths over Forza Furia, who finished 2 to 3 boat lengths ahead of Danger Zone, which was hey, game effort by them, but not enough to advance. So cheers to the Merger and Forza Furia.
Yep, and so you have Ray D'Amico, just to get back to that. I thought it was a great late pickup by Iron Village. I mean, he's not going to do, and it's not being biased to my brother Dave, but you're talking an absolute animal of a rower, and Ray D'Amico, no doubt, is a good rower. But what I like about the pickup is it's very, very safe.
And so, so what's your angle there, John? And it's just a solid guy, no let up, experienced. You know, he's been there before. He knows how to perform in the big moments, and that's something you think they need to get over the hump.
Well, they needed a guy that can pick up a stroke. It's almost like learning a new offense in football. And this is a guy that has been on a lot of different boats, has won championships with many different crews, and can learn a stroke. He knows whether he needs to go a little deeper. He knows how to. He's not going to hurt you. Now, does he have enough? Because, Corey, he got kicked off of Forza Furia.
Do we know the story behind that?
Yeah, they told him he can't row.
Whoa! So now you're fighting for a lot more than just a spot in a boat. You're fighting for your name.
That's right. You know, and in the rowing world, it is what it is. In the rowing world, if you don't win the title, you have to make adjustments because you don't row in the off season in boats like these and be able to go up against the tides, the waves, the current, the wind, like everything. If you lose by a boat or more, you need to really make some major adjustments sometimes. Sometimes you don't. Sometimes it could be just your stroke was too fast or too slow, whatever it might be. But Ray D'Amico was a safe pickup for Iron Village, your 2018 champions. I think it was a very good pickup. And in the bow is Jerry Shimataro and Mike Tarantino. So that's your 2018 champions. Is Iron Village, a strong crew. They are young. I'm sorry, they're not young. They're still inexperienced in the rowing world, and the question is, can they repeat the title? Because it's very, very difficult to go back to back. Very tough.
I'd imagine it falls that way for all competition, right? I mean, the first one is to taste the sweetest because you finally get there, but there's almost more honor and nobility in trying to defend the title, and then you don't want to lose it, and so you'll do whatever it takes to sort of hold on and maintain. So we'll see if they have it or not. I mean, I guess that's what separates a blip in the radar, an anomaly from people who just deserve to be talked about for years to come. Whether you're two-time, three-time, four-time, that's happened out here, defending champions. So we'll see. Like we said, there's a lot of pride on the line. There's a lot of tradition that's bounced around, a lot of bragging rights at stake. So we'll see how everything sort of plays out.
And to add to that, Corey, is another reason it's very difficult to repeat is because a perfect example of that today is Forza Furia. And whatever their new name's going to be, they're going to name the boat. John Francis said he'll let us know. He said today that he was rowing in honor of my brother Dave, who had a medical setback. So thank you to that, John Francis, great friend of the family. And last year, Forza Furia, they won in 2016. They had a decent race on Wednesday, had a good race on Saturday, made adjustments on Sunday. They could make adjustments every day. Same thing with Iron Village last year, where Merger last year just rode. They were your 2017 champs and won by probably 20 boats. It's the biggest Sunday championship that I've ever seen.
It's like Secretariat.
Unbelievable. And then last year, because they only row one day, in their one day they had an off race, and then they lost by three, four boats. And so it's about adjustments and you're going to see Forza Furia today. You're going to see them make adjustments for Saturday, and they have Thursday to practice, Friday. They know what they need to do game-wise, because it's game, not just practicing. They know what they need to do to adjust, and Merger does too. Merger has the most championships on the crew with rowers, so they know they need to make adjustments as well.
Yeah, so how cool is this now? So now you've got champions all over. Some have been on other boats in the past. Some are joined forces with old-time foes. They're all doing it for one cause. And here we are, here to share that with you. So, yeah, a lot on the line. It's really cool to be a part of it. And we're looking forward to sharing some of this competition with you, not only today, but Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well for the Greasy Pole and the same boat races. So there's a lot to talk about, and there's a lot of, John sharing a lot of cool stories with you, like the game within the game, and some of the backstories of some of these guys competing today. So that's awesome. I mean, everyone's got a great story to tell, and when you've been doing this in some cases, for some of these guys, decade after decade after decade, you get some great stories and folklore out of that. So it should be really cool. If you're wondering about the competitions, you can see from our Streamography feed here too. It's calmer. It's calmer than it was for the first heat right now. I'd say the wind has shifted a little more north than east, and that's calmed down a bit, but high tide is coming in. So it should be like a pretty flat, easy go of it as far as that is concerned. And if you're just looking out there too, you're talking 70 degrees today here in downtown Gloucester here on Pavilion Beach. You can't beat the scenery. We're lucky just to be alive and here and spend this time with you, and looking forward to doing this all weekend long.
Yep, and right in front of us, you can see that boat right there, the Sea Pro. That's Anthony Saputo's boat. He's the president of the St. Peter's Club. And just strolling by, making sure everyone's behaving, because Anthony and his guys on that boat are definitely behaving. It looks like Mike Nicastro on there. We're waiting to get this race underway. We have Dirty Oars versus Chaos, and these boats are out there just getting loosened up. In other sports, you'd call it calisthenics, so baseball, softball, getting some throws in, and they're gonna get lined up and get this thing going. Just a shout out to our sponsors, Craney Home Services, Blue Collar Lobster, Gloucester House Restaurant, St. Peter's Fiesta Committee, and Streamography, who is the mastermind behind this and giving you the access to watch this from wherever you are. And remember to go to the St. Peter's app and give us a shout out, and we'll give you the shout out over this live broadcast. So coming up on Friday, we will have our St. Peter's Fiesta coverage as well with the Greasy Pole. And on Friday, there'll be one winner of the Greasy Pole, and whoever wins the Greasy Pole will advance to Saturday, and whoever wins on Saturday advances to Championship Sunday. And that's the goal, is to get to Sunday where all the champions are.
That's where all the glory lies, man. Championship Sunday. It's probably my favorite day of the year here in Gloucester. And, whether you're growing up here or you've came and visited and had to return, it's all about Fiesta Sunday. And we are expecting probably, I would say, upwards of 10,000 plus people just here in Pavilion Beach alone and standing along the boulevard and down towards the fort just to sneak a peek and watch the amazing competition. So that's awesome. This is the 92nd year of the St. Peter's Fiesta. We saw Anthony Saputo come by in a boat a little while ago. And one thing Anthony always emphasizes is that at the end of the day, it's about St. Peter and the work and overlooking the fishermen and what that means to the community here too. And yet we have all the sporting competitions, all the games, the carnivals, but predating all of that was, of course, the novena, and which was placed in a window down here on the fort many, many decades ago. And as the story goes, before there was even the novena, there was a St. Peter statue left in one of the fishermen's windows as he went out to sea. The women and children gathered around in the window the next day and brought flowers and gifts and began to pray. And that was actually the beginning of what ended up being St. Peter's Fiesta 92 years ago. So awesome story all around, and a big part of who we are and what we do here in Gloucester. So I hope you are enjoying this as much as we are.
Yeah, and thank you for that, Corey, that great tradition of the St. Peter's Fiesta. And it is about St. Peter and the legendary stories that we have. But as you can see, we're panned to the right, and that is our beautiful boulevard. And that on Sunday and Saturday will be busy, no doubt about it. But on Sunday, that boulevard will be packed with people for all the way to the Cup Bridge. And as we pan around, coming back around through our beautiful harbor, this is going to be a packed harbor. You're going to see, right now, you see some boats out there. And as you come around, you'll see the harbor master. You'll see the boat in front of us, the Pinta, which that's Chaos, 6-time champion. You'll also see the committee boat loaded. You'll see the American flag, and you're going to see the Greasy Pole behind it, Anthony Saputo's boat. And as you pan around to the fort playground, this entire harbor is going to be packed. Just get this picture now, people, if you're watching, and if you're going to be watching on Saturday and Sunday, watch the boats grow on Saturday. And on Sunday, you probably won't even see water. You're going to just see boats. And it is going to be packed. And as you pan around to the fort playground, that's where, in this area, the St. Peter started. And that's what Corey's talking about, where they used to have it right out of the windows of some of two certain houses and families, and it started there, and then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger.
And back in those days too, what would happen during Fiesta time is everyone down here, all the families had their doors open, and it was really about a feast and prayer, and you could literally just walk from house to house to house, home to home to home, and enjoy homemade wine, and of course all the fresh fish and all the seafood and all the pasta, et cetera, and any other traditional Italian meals too. And that's just what this was all about. Some families still do that down here, even though there is the carnival and everything else here, which is really, it's a fundraiser for the committee and help put on all these events here too. But that was the original idea of Novena and the Fiesta, was family and tradition and thinking of the fishermen. Even as close as 50 years ago, our fishing fleet was, 250 plus boats. We're down to 25 boats now, but there are people still out there doing it. Close friends of both of our families, the Castros and Kukros. We've lost members out there in sea, and not even in the way back past. It's been recent. So people are still out there. They're still making a living and fighting the good fight, and that's what this whole weekend is about, is honoring them and St. Peter.
Well said, Corey. And just to add to when you talked back in the day, we had nearly 300 fishing vessels or so that all donated to this fiesta. And that's actually what funded the Fiesta, and now we're down to a couple dozen, Corey. Don't be shy to give a donation to the St. Peter's committee and the St. Peter's Fiesta. It doesn't matter if it's $10 or if you have a deeper pocket and it's $1,000 or more or $100 or whatever it is. It doesn't matter what it is. It's going to really help, because back in the day you had nearly 300 vessels donating, and now you have a couple dozen boats, and some of them, because of the fishing limitations, can't donate like they used to, so the funding can be tight.
Right, that's yeah. Anything you can do can help, and it's not just the Fiesta and the weekend remembrances that helps support. There are other organizations here too helping fishermen and their families. They're all super important. And when we did that cool pan over the inner harbor here, past the Greasy Pole and over to the Fort Playground, that Fort Playground down there just got completely remade and redone because little kids from the Fort area were asking. They asked the mayor to have something done, and then Mike Hill and the Gloucester DPW went in, cleaned everything up, spiffed everything up, brought in new equipment down there too, and that's a great vantage point for all the races in the Greasy Pole too. So when we come back here Friday, Saturday, Sunday, you're going to see the difference with John, like what John said. All the boat traffic around the pole, like it's mayhem out there, and then literally easily 10,000 people you're going to see all along the coastline here watching the competition. So it's going to be a really cool sight.
Yep, and now we're trying to get a race underway. You can see both boats now in the picture here, and you have to the right, you have self-proclaimed greatest of all time coxman Vincent Orlando. He said last year at a party that we went to that he would only come back if he thought that the crew had a chance to win. Well, Vincent, we remembered that. I don't know if you were a couple cocktails deep, but you did say it, brother, because I heard it with my own ears. And you're on a boat. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But we're going to find out in about 15 minutes if you have what it takes with Dirty Oars. And you have Gappa Orlando as the scuttler, steering the boat, turning the boat. And you have Vinny Orlando as the coxman, your coach, leading the way. Lead oarsmen Alex Rodolosi and Steve Totoni, Jared Morris and Chris Casateri. You have Jake Schrock, John Philpott, Jermaine Edwards, Christian Brigo, Alex Militello, and Chris Mack. That's your Dirty Oars. If they can somehow pull off this upset, this will go down as the greatest sailboat upset of all time. But we will find out, because they are going up against arguably the greatest dynasty of all time in chaos. You have Joe Novello, the coxman, the scuttler, Timmy Oakes. Might be the best scuttler ever. You have Eric Dombrowski, Glenn Harrington as your lead oarsman, Tom T.C. Conrad, Wally Mays, Len Robinson, and Brian Burke, Joe Sands and Janda Rickyman, Jeff Muse, and Matt Dreyer. That's your chaos, your 2000, 2002, 2009, 2010, 2011, 2013 chaos, your champs. Last year, they faced Forze Furia. They made some adjustments on their boat. They lost by about a seat to Forze Furia. Forze Furia lost by probably about a seat to Iron Village on Sunday with extra rows. Maybe Chaos could have won it last year.
And you know what, John, as you're speaking, I don't know if Streamography's picked this up. In the distance, there's been a low-lying fog that has just crept in.
And they're off, Corey. They're off.
Here we go. And you see it's creeping in towards the flags right now. And we're off to a great start here between Chaos and Dirty Oars. Let's see how they come out of the gate here.
Yeah, Corey, sorry to interrupt you, buddy, but that was a quick stop by Vincent Orlando, who's, I don't know if he fell asleep or he's sitting down, but I know like that I don't know, I'm not sure, but it might be working as they both got a good start. It looks like Chaos might have got a little bit of an edge, but I don't know. But I think Vincent Orlando pulled something out of his sleeve and got a start. That team really took off. Much better start than last year. The stroke looks good to the right. The stroke looks good to the left. But one thing I'll say from just watching this, Corey, watch this stroke right now on the left. Watch how it's nice and long. Watch the stroke to the right. It's just a little bit quicker. Be careful of that stroke because you will die out.
That's a great point. And I'm just telling you right now, if Vinny could throw Fuji dust in the eyes of the competition, he would do that.
Corey, I would not be surprised if he paid someone, a snorkeler, to go underwater and just maybe get a little bit of a drill. He'll do whatever it takes, and we both know that.
Well, as you see the guys heading out, not quite at the halfway point of the, what is the halfway marker there in the flags, the half mile out. You can see actually this fog is now rolling in all the way across. It's now touched over by Stage 4 Park. We're either being attacked by New Hampshire or that's fog.
Or Vincent has a fog blower over in Stage 4 Park, and he will do whatever it takes, Corey. You got to admit it. He might have stole DJ Fuda Ferrara's fogger and just had it go.
That's right. Yeah, we can't put anything by that guy. So yeah, we don't know. It's a weird weather phenomenon has just hit us here too. It's curious, to say the least.
And I've never seen something like this come in so quick. And we've lived here a long time, and it's not your typical fog. I mean, this is how Vincent does it. Somehow it'll end up a one boat race and the other boat disappears. You just never know with Vincent. But anyway, just joking all aside, Vincent Vinny Orlando, a great gamesman, is his type of personality is just absolute great for the game because he adds so much spice and flavor. But kidding aside, right now it looks like Chaos to the left has a lead. And on Saturday and Sunday, we will be in communication with the other boats that are out there. The committee boat will give us updates, but it looks like Chaos is pulling away fast.
Well, it was a pretty decent start by Dirty Oars, but look, Chaos, they're loaded. They have a lot of experience on that crew. So, and they're out there making it happen right now, probably at the quarter pole, you could say, as they make their way out towards the flags. But like John noticed right off the bat, too, nice, long, even strokes from Crew Chaos. So a strong start for them, and that bodes well.
Yeah, and it's a key people. It's like you really got to think of running. And if you're running like a 5K or even if you're doing one lap around a track, if you think that you're going to come out and sprint and make it all the way around, you need to pace yourself. You have to know that's what the coach is for, the coxman. You have to be able to pace. So if you have too fast of a stroke in the first race, we said it, like can Forza Furia with their experience, with Mike Jarvis as the coxman, just do what they do. They still had a lot of race left, probably a couple 100 yards from the beach, and just keep that stroke and not panic. And pretty much that's what they did. And they just slowly edged out Danger Zone by a lot, because 3 boats is a lot in this race.
You know what's a real cool aspect about elimination races on Wednesday is you can see all the boats going alongside the rowers here in the Seines. That's not going to happen Friday, Saturday, Sunday, because this harbor is going to be packed side by each out there with boats tied up. So it's pretty cool to see them go out and try to race with those guys and follow along.
Yep, and you have your 2018 Sunday champion for the greasy pole is why am I going blank right now? On the champion last year, because I remember who was the champ last year. I'm going blank. Why am I going? Oh, it's Sweet. And how can you forget him? Because he's already, sorry about that, because he's already has 4 titles, I believe it is. And just an incredible walker, and Randy Sweet was your 2018 Greasy Pole champion. Sorry, Randy, buddy. But now that we do Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, I just had a brain cramp. But you're talking a great walker in Randy Sweet. And it's hard to get second or third walks these years. And Randy Sweet's going to be tough. But on the left, you can see Chaos taking the turn. And there goes Dirty Oars taking a turn. Hopefully, Dirty Oars can have an incredible turn here, but Chaos is already out.
I think Chaos is up, I'd say, a boat and a half length right now. They came out of that turn really strong, and you can still see Dirty Oars taking a little wide, trying to straighten up and head back here towards the home stretch. That's the half-mile mark, folks.
Yeah, you go a half a mile out, turn the boat, half a mile back. So you turn your pin, and when you're going into the turn, 5 oars will come out of the water, 5 oars stay in the water. The scuttler will turn the boat, the 5 oars in the water also, the coach directing the way. And Dirty Oars just took a little longer to come out of their turn. That can also be experience. And Chaos whipped right around. Timmy Oakes just completely whipped the boat right around on the best turn of the day so far out of the 5 boats that have competed.
And you know what, John, we want to say this for all the people watching here and thinking about coming out this weekend for the events. High tide, late afternoon and early evening throughout the weekend as progresses, so not a lot of beach to play with this year. So you want to get your spots early to view all the competition.
Yeah, as you can see, when you go from high tide to low tide, and this is a high tide, which our high tide is at its highest peak around 7 o'clock tonight, is there isn't a lot. So that's a great point by Corey, and it's going to be like that all weekend. So there isn't going to be a lot of beach, and the population crowd is just going to get bigger and bigger. And when these boats come in, they really have to back up because these boats come in hard, especially on very close races, because these guys will row all the way till their oars actually stick into the ground.
And it's chaos right now, starting to run away with it a bit. They're looking really strong here after that turn. Dirty Oars there on the right, and we'll see if they can make up some ground. They got to have to do that quickly if they want to advance to this weekend.
Yeah, and sometimes, just for people out there that are tuning in, and you might watch same boats and just not understand, like, maybe how does a team maybe make a move. Okay, like, so if a team, so right now they have 10 oarsmen that all need to be rowing in perfect harmony. You need 10 oars acting as one, and the longer you keep that oar in the water overall and take a nice smooth long stroke all together, your boat's going to go at a nice smooth consistency, and you lay back into it and you keep a nice speed. But if you need to make up some ground or get a little jump start, you need to now shorten up your stroke just a tad, maybe give 5 or 10 rabbit starts, which is going to be quick together, 10 together, and just get a little bit of a burst. Now, right now, Chaos is up by probably 5, 6 plus boats, if not more. And to the right, those guys just need to get Dirty Oars experience at this point. You don't give up. You don't feel discouraged. You're a young crew. If last year you lost by 10 boats, this year you lose by 7. And it's very important for them to just really get this practice in, because you can't practice in the off season for this type of element.
And I just want to say in front of us, John, that the red kayak is in front of the yellow kayak by about 10 kayaks.
Yep, and somehow that's a great judgment, because I couldn't even say you're wrong by a half a kayak.
Yeah. Yeah, we nailed that one. So here we go. Chaos comfortably out front and heading back towards Pavilion Beach here on a picture-perfect day. It is the elimination race. This is the second heat now. The winner advances to this weekend's competition. And this is John DeCastro along with Corey Kukru. Here I am saying hi to you hey, look, we're high above. We got a great vantage point here overlooking all of the Gloucester Inner Harbor and the Greasy Pole. And we're going to be here with you all weekend long to share the sights and sounds of the 92nd Annual St. Peter's Fiesta and the Greasy Pole competition and the Same Boat competition. So here we are. We're in the middle of it now.
Yeah, and a shout out to our camera crew, Mark Nicastro, working 3 camera angles over here. So a little shout out to Mark Nicastro as he's working the camera and giving us a good view.
Assistant coach of the year.
Assistant coach. Actually, he's pretty much the coach of the year. I know how to pick my assistants. For me to get the coach of the year, because the assistants are a bigger piece. Without the good assistants, you can't do anything. 2019 Division II North champions, Gloucester High School softball and Eastern Mass champs made the finalists. But as you can see, Chaos coming in strong, a big lead over Dirty Oars to the right, a young crew. But Chaos, back from last year, put a lot of work in the off season. You have Joe Novello, the coxman, the scuttler Timmy Oakes, whipped the boat around, the best turn of the day out of the 5 crews that competed. Eric Dombrowski, Glenn Harrington, Tom T.C. Conrad, Wally Mares, Len Robinson, Brian Burke, Joe Sands, Janda Ricky Munn, Jeff Muse, Matt Dreyer. Chaos is just going to cruise in to Saturday. They're going to be going up against what a race we're going to have on Saturday when we're going to have the merger. Your 2017 champ, a boatload of Gigalonis and Morrisseys. You're going to have Forze Furia, your 2016 champ, and you're going to have Chaos, a 6-time champion. All champions going up against each other. 2 out of 3 are going to advance against the 2018 champion, Iron Village. Can Iron Village repeat? As you can see, Chaos and the Pinta just cruising in, and to the right, obviously lost by a lot, but a lot better than last year when they're going up against a crew like this. The strokes a little bit better. You got to get some strokes in, and Dirty Oars doing a good job. It's a tough race going out there. It's not easy, this race. Half a mile back, half a mile out, half a mile back.
Oh yeah, cheers to Dirty Oars for being out there today. They're still they're coming in out of the beach. And, hey, hats off to that crew. But, hey, look, Chaos, they ran away with it. Strong start, killer turn out there, nice straight line. And, like you said, we cruised to victory, and they are on to battle this weekend.
Yep, Chaos, 6-time champion, one of the great crews of all time, advancing to Saturday, in which we're going to have the merger versus Forze Furia, whatever their new name will be, we'll let you know, versus Chaos. We have 3 crews. 2 will advance to Sunday against Iron Village, and it's going to be an incredible Saturday. We're going to see you Friday for the Greasy Pole competition. There'll be one champion from Friday advancing to Saturday. And one more shout out to our sponsors in Craney Home Services, Blue Collar Lobster, Gloucester House Restaurant, the St. Peter's Fiesta Committee, and Streamography developed the St. Peter's app. Without them, we wouldn't be here right now. So shout out to our sponsors. And Corey, do we have any last things you want to add?
Well, we now that we're kicking off the 92nd annual Fiesta, this evening you have entertainment from Barry Mooney. That's going to St. Peter's Park, and then tomorrow is the Fiesta 5K race, right around 6:30 or so. That starts at Stage 4 Park, makes its way down right through Roger Street in Fiesta. So there is that, and then we'll be back with you for the same boat races and the Greasy Pole competition starting Friday. So look for us on Streamography, and you can download that app now and follow us right through the weekend. Tell people about it.
Yeah, and I think we also have our junior and senior women's races on Friday as well. So you have last year in the senior division, I know your champions were Rogue, and Rogue has a bunch of titles in 2013, 2015, 2017, and Backlash in 2016, Audacious in 2014, and the females rowing division has been around for a couple decades now, more. I think it was like mid 90s, 95, 96.
Yeah, the Audacious years, right? Back in the early mid 90s, yep.
So we're going to be covering some of that as well, and we're going to be here for the Greasy Pole on Friday. So a shout out to everyone in 2019 St. Peter's Fiesta. Bona Fiesta, everybody, and we'll see you on Friday, probably around 4 o'clock. Thank you. I'm your host, John Nicastro, my co-host, Corey Kukuru.
Viva!
Viva, people. We'll see you on Friday.
Elsewhere, it's going to be near 90 degrees, and when you factor in the humidity, this is a look at the heat index at about 2:30 tomorrow afternoon. It's going to feel like it's in the lower 90s, Boston, all the way up into Portsmouth.
Are you like this guy, struggling year in and year out to get that heavy AC back in the window? In only a couple of hours, Cranny Home Services can easily install a sleek ductless split unit so you never have to go through the struggle again. They're far more efficient than traditional air conditioners, your walls and ceilings won't have to be ripped apart, you'll never have to move it, and it even gives off some heat in the winter. So if you want to learn more about how you can save money and aggravation with the ductless split unit, we'd love to chat with you here at Cranny Home Services. You can give us a call at 1-800-CRANNY or visit our website.
At Cranny Home Services, a satisfied customer is a beautiful thing.